What's up, rock stars? Jim Chandler with Rock Your Best Vocals. Today I'm trying something different. Today I'm trying a long-form podcast thing, and the reason why I wanted to do this was to have a longtime friend of mine and also ex-bandmate to kind of come on to the channel and tell you guys what it's like to be in a touring band. Now, he and I used to tour all over Ireland together, and then we went off and did different bands and stuff like that, but we've known each other for a long time. The guts of the 24-ish years I've lived here, I was in a band with him for several years. You get to know somebody very well when you're stuffed in a van with them, traveling 5 hours from like Dublin to Donegal and back. That was back in the day. It's a little bit quicker now, but traversed the entire country with this guy, and he's just great fun to talk to. So I thought I would have a conversation with him and then allow you to have the benefits of all the golden nuggets that he has, all his experience. He's an incredible vocalist. An incredible guitar player. Excuse the sound because I did a rookie error. I didn't check the levels before running the podcast, so the levels were a little bit off. So anyway, bear with the sound. And let me know in the comments below what your biggest takeaway from the whole podcast was. Do you like the podcast? And if you did like it, please hit like and follow Philip over on his channel. Like, he does a lot of really good guitar review stuff, and he's just a really good guy. So I wanted to have him on the channel and kind of allow you guys the benefit of that understanding from what it's like to be a singer, guitar player in a touring band. So those of you that aspire to be a professional musician, this is what it's like. I hope you guys like it. Until then, rock your best vocals where your best keeps getting better.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rock Your Best Vocals podcast. Here we have Philip Joyce on from so many bands, but currently in a band called BlueMoose, and he had his own channel. What's your channel called, Philip Joyce?
First of all, well, hi, and thanks a million for having me on your show.
Well, thank you for joining.
Not at all.
But yeah. Why don't you? So, what is your current channel?
So my personal YouTube channel is Philip Joyce Musician. You can find, and if you want to find my website, it's philipjoycemusic.com. And I'm Philip Joyce Musician on Instagram and Facebook. So I think it's just Philip Joyce Musician on YouTube, so you can find me there for my guitar nonsense. And it's mainly guitar stuff. I don't really do vocal things on my YouTube channel, even though I suppose technically I'm as much a singer as I am a guitarist. But
hell yeah, and that's why I wanted to have you on here, because folks, one of the things, like, Philip and I go super far back. I think you were
20+ years now, I think.
Yeah. Oh my God, the dog is making a little. She always gets up there.
Hello.
She always. This is like, she's like, "Are we going for a walk soon, man?" She heard the W word. Anyway, but so that's why I wanted to have you on. We go back. Well, it's
nearly 20 years. It's not quite 20 yet, but it's coming up.
Yeah, because
I think I met you about 2004.
Yeah, 2004. Yeah, roughly then. Yeah, because it would have been kind of right after the Glitterbug started. You came in like straight after Widgeon, wasn't it?
Well, I as he loves to say, robbed his gig.
Robbed his gig, yeah.
His nickname for me was Gig Robber.
Really? I don't realize.
You don't remember he used to call me Gig Robber?
No, I don't remember that.
I used to call him Gig Leaver because he left the band for 6 months and never came back.
I was that's
initially
right.
supposed to just fill in for him for like the summer. He was going back to the States, I think, for 3 months or something, and then he just never came back. So kind of getting the gig by default, in that I was there.
Yeah. So even though before that you were doing like stuff that was, you were in the Bee Gees, singing and playing in the Bee Gees, weren't you?
Yeah, I was in I suppose I would have met you through I was a mutual friend of ours, Keith Connolly, a drummer, who had this Bee Gees tribute band, and we ended up on some Christmas party gigs down in Cork. The Glitterbugs, the band you were in at the time.
Yeah.
And the band I joined later on, and the Bee Gees tribute band that I was in, Bee Jesus.
Bee Gees. It wasn't called Bee Gees.
Irish. Yeah, it was the Irish Bee Gees band. Bee Gees.
Was it really called that?
Yeah, that's what. Well, that was kind of our. I think on those Christmas party gigs, it was just Bee Gees tribute band, but that was our sort of in-house name.
Oh, that's so cool! I love it.
Intentions on us going to Australia and doing like a tour down there as Bee Jesus, the Bee Gees, the Irish Bee Gees experience.
I can't believe this is actually the first time I've ever heard that.
Is it? I love that name. I thought it was hilarious. That was Keith and Jay, who actually lived in Australia at the time. But anyway, that we're kind of getting off topic. But that's how long back we go. When we met first. So that was probably 2003ish, and then I moved up to Dublin the following summer.
Yeah, and then so we did like numerous years.
If you remember, for a minute.
Yes, we were doing that, and White Chocolate as well. You were doing.
Well, yeah, but we were in the before it got going. Band Knucklehead, which then formed briefly after that, and then we were like flirting with the idea. We were both approached to be in this band, and then it was like, this is a conflict of interest.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So we were like, this is.
Yeah, I barely even remember that. Were we both?
We only did like one rehearsal, if you remember, because we were chatting with the lads. It was Darrow O'Hare, drummer.
Yeah. And
Mark Dempsey on bass.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fist keyboard player.
Yes.
So they were forming this rock band, and they approached me and you, but then we were like, we're in the Glitterbugs, and the Glitterbugs like is busy, and we've got gigs, and if we join this band, like it's gonna have no gigs, we're gonna have to be cancelling. You know, it was just like, this is not gonna work.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you have a better memory about that than I do. I must have like not even been.
That was in my pre like I didn't drink or anything back then, so my memory's decent. It gets progressively worse as time goes by.
You know, either my memory was just really bad at the time because I was drinking, or
you were doing a million things back then. You were, young kids, job. Bands, multiple bands.
But that's probably why I don't remember that. Or I probably also didn't even ever consider that it was going to be a possibility, possibly because of that conflict of interest or something.
I wonder why we even did the rehearsal at all. But
that was fun.
So, long story short, we go back a ways.
So what were you gigging last night?
Last night, no, I was out visiting with the in-laws. It was my partner Karina's dad's birthday, so we went out to hang out with him for the night. So
okay, so yeah, when you said you were in Connemara, I was like, oh God, is he coming back from a gig? And I'm like, oh geez.
No, I was gigging all weekend. I was gigging I was gigging Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, so you guys, wow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Awesome. Yeah, so I want to talk a few things about, because we talked a little bit about gear already, and I wanted to really kind of talk to you a lot about what you do, because most of my stuff in terms of the channel, I really like to talk about the fact that I sing professionally and have for so long, and that's one of the things that I think when people want to become a professional singer, or when they already are, I think this is really going to benefit them, because what we're going to do is we're going to talk about that, what it's like to sing professionally, what it's like to gig so much. Because even like sometimes the big bands, I mean, I know Ozzy would only go 3 stints in a row because of his voice. I think he can only sing 3 gigs. I remember this from one of the episodes of the Osbournes, and he could only sing 3 gigs in a row, and he was getting annoyed at Sharon because she booked 4, and he was like, I can't do it, Sharon.
Well, Ozzy wouldn't exactly have been known for his amazing technique, to be honest. So his vocal longevity is probably way past its sell-by date at the time anyway. It's amazing he could sing it all with what he's, the abuse he gave his body.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think, and that's it. I mean, it does go down to technique, really, doesn't it? Because you've probably had to learn over the years, how to not lose your voice, right?
And I have lost it on occasions.
Yeah.
And it's scary, horrible.
When was the last time you lost your voice?
lost it completely.
Well, no, completely. Let's say completely.
A couple of weeks back, I had a nagging cough, and I rarely ever lose my voice. My voice is funny this way. I'll rarely ever lose my voice completely. What happens? I will lose chunks. I lose like certain parts of my chest. My upper chest register will just like crack out and go.
Yeah.
My really high falsetto rarely ever goes. I can almost always get up to the really high notes, which is strange, and I can never quite fathom why it is this.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I might be able to sing something in my kind of chest register, but I could sing Thunderstruck. I get it. Like, people be like, how? Like, you can't talk. And like, I know, but I can sing that. I don't know why that is. So it's a strange one. So I was about 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, I had a bad cough, and just kind of, I had to just adjust my you know, the stuff in the set that I sang. Maybe go, I can't do that one.
Right.
Like, I could sing certain stuff, but I lost my voice completely. I'd say about the last time was 4 years ago. Like, literally nothing was coming out completely.
Wow.
On.
Okay. Right.
Like I said, scary feeling.
Totally. How long did that last?
It lasted about 10 days, I think. I just had to just completely stop talking, stop trying to sing. Trying to sing was even making it worse. So I had to stop trying to sing, just really rest. And I was sick, so I had to get over the sickness and then just really baby my voice until it kind of came back. And, you know, lots of hot drinks and lots of humming and warming up slowly over the coming few days and stuff. Before it came back. But then it took several weeks after that to get back to, you know, 100% or even anywhere close to 100%. So that's always the problem. I'm sure you're well familiar with this. If your voice starts to go and then you push through, you know, to get through a gig, or, you know, and it just makes it worse. And then it ends up, the recovery takes longer and you don't get back to your 100% for, time after that.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. It delays that recovery. So did you have to cancel gigs because of losing your voice?
Luckily, I suppose, because I'm not the lead singer in the band. I just happen to sing, you know, 50% of the set, but we were able to just kind of just chop out my songs. We could still get through the gigs. You know, if I was the only singer, it would have been game over. Cancel these gigs or get someone in.
Yeah.
So like, I've been lucky. In the last, let's say, 10 plus years, I might get a bit of a sore throat, like a cough or a cold, maybe once a year, sometimes if I'm lucky and careful. And even when I'm sick, usually my voice doesn't go. It's just if I get a really bad cough or something like that, it would affect it. But I could be sick and still sing. It's a funny one. Again, I suppose it comes down to taking care of your voice all of the time, the rest of the year.
Yeah.
You know, so even if
that was what I was gonna say. Is the cough the worst thing for you? Because I find for me that is like, if I'm coughing and incessantly coughing, I'm like, that's just gonna destroy my voice.
The thing that wrecks my voice more than anything is like staying up late, talking loudly, and not getting enough sleep. That'll actually damage my voice more than any illness.
Yes,
that's something I've had to sort of just get wise to as well. And like, you know, you're hanging out with the lads after a gig and you're having a good time, a few drinks, staying over maybe. And I used to just have to go, lads, I gotta go. I can't stay up I can't be around this noisy environment and be talking and laughing and having a great time and enjoying it, of course. And you were like, I just have to do the sensible thing and go to bed because I won't be able to sing tomorrow if I don't. So but that's maturity, you know, that comes with time and maturity. And, you know, it's, again, I'm sure you're very familiar. There's nothing more frustrating and like you kick yourself when you're not able to perform to the level that you're used to and the level that you expect to be able to perform. And it's very disheartening. And we were talking about this like briefly in a text message, kind of saying it can be quite depressing. Like when you're not able to sing to what you know you can or should be able. It can be real downer. So I just don't want to get into that situation anymore or ever.
Yeah, that's totally like when you know that you can sing something, but when you're just like squealing stuff out and like crap like that, and you know you just sound like awful. Like I mean, I've done gigs where it's like I had to do the gig, right? And I was just like squealing and just like all over the place. And I have the same thing as you in terms of that same condition, that kind of upper chesty register thing.
Yeah, right around where your break point is, and it's like
yeah.
Top of your
And I'd lose all of that, like you said. I'd lose all that, but I could still get that falsetto, like just exactly like what you were saying. It's like when you were saying that, I was like, oh my God, that's exactly like what I experienced, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I remember doing gigs like that, and I just come away from it and just like, oh my God, like I think when I was. I did that reaction to Puddle of Mud when he was singing that word about a girl.
I felt terrible for the guy.
Yeah, because I was like, dude, I've been there.
Yeah, I've been there, but also it's like, you shouldn't have done it.
No, yeah, exactly.
Well,
yeah,
it was never, I don't think he ever would have been able to sing that song that way anyway. And it was just like, oh, you should have just done something else, lads.
Yeah, pick a different one, do one of your own, or like Jesus, or just
it was
kind of
painful. But I felt for him because I like that, like you, I've been there. I have to squeak my way through a song.
Yeah,
like, oh, this is bad. I hope nobody's videoing. And luckily, once upon a time, you could probably have a bad night or a couple of bad nights and no one would know. But now with, camera phones and the internet,
it's just like
up there for everyone to hear.
So what is your most difficult song to sing in your set?
I don't know. Actually, it's a good question.
That's why I wrote it down on my sheet of questions.
You know what? I don't think it's any one song is particularly difficult. It's more a case of certain songs can be difficult on certain nights depending on how your voice is and what condition it's in at the time. So like I was saying, some nights Thunderstruck might be the easiest song of the night for me to sing because the rest of my lower register is not quite there that day or whatever. Challenging, I don't know.
What's the one you like?
Maybe a song like
dread?
Bed of Roses by Guns or by Bon Jovi. That one can cause me, as in, again, if I'm not feeling 100%, I'm like, oh, I know I'm going to get to that high note, and it's just going to be, it's going to be hard. And then you're kind of, you're sort of mentally preparing for that note the whole song, and it's like, you're psyching yourself out before you've even got to it, and it's like that can be a tough one. Even though like the majority of that song is not high, the majority of the vocal isn't particularly high. It's just that there's those couple of notes in the chorus, and then at the very end, the outro chorus is an even higher note. Which funny again, I can almost nearly always get the highest note at the very end, but then hitting the ones on the chorus clean. The I lay you down a bed. That one.
Oh yeah.
Like again, just to hit it clean with volume, that can be right. But then there's the one at the end, which is like it's just, it goes up a little bit higher. But again, for some reason, that one might often be easier.
Do you do that part in falsetto?
No, I don't. I don't. I kind of, it's a mixed. I was singing with a mixed voice. I can just about hit it in full belt, like full chest.
Yeah.
But it's a risky one. It's like I could go for it in full chest, but it might not happen. So I tend to hit it in a kind of a mixed voice.
Yeah,
and it's like, again, I suppose it's a sensation thing. Like I experienced that change between chest and head voice. So people have different ways of describing it. I feel it's like a flip. It's like a flap or something. It feels like I'm shifting from that the notes are coming from here in my face to come from back here all of a sudden. It's like, it is literally like a flap. It gets turned, and now I'm kind of singing from the back of my throat, essentially. I mean, it's not from your throat, but like the sensation feels like the notes move from front to back.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of navigate that switch over, that change from lower to high. And so like I could sing that in the, you'd hear it more, or a good practice of this for any of your singing students who are watching. Like when you're doing like it's all chest.
Yeah.
But you could sing that top note, that in head voice probably as well.
Yeah.
So like to go like to be able to flip back and forth.
Yes.
I'll often like if I'm warming up, I'll try and do like a simple, like I always run like, little 5-note scales, like la 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 la. When I get to the higher ones, and I try, like, that's not the highest I would go, but
yeah,
I would then try and smoothly go between head and chest, and that once I'm getting to near the break, so that I can sing. They're like, I know I can sing that note in either.
Yes.
Then it's like I'm more familiar with the sensation of flipping into head voice, which makes the transition much smoother. And like I can bring my head voice down to sort of cover that point of where you're just reaching the top of your chest register, and you don't want to be like squeezing out those last couple of notes. It'd be easier to just flip into head voice and just drop it down a bit. I mean, these are probably typical singing type. So like I'm not a trained singer, so it's like I kind of learned on the job as such.
Well, that can, like, I always think that can be way more beneficial. And this goes to, like, if you talk to anybody that's like super successful out in the world, they'll say like, look, I'm successful because I didn't go to college, because I didn't learn all that crap. You know what I mean? Like, because so that's where I think like street smarts and actually doing it is way more beneficial. You learn a lot more, and you get that experience. I mean, you may not have.
Sorry, go.
No, go ahead.
I think like a bit of both is really the ideal. You want to, I think a lot of people learn doing. And so, like, I learned most about my voice from actually just trying things and trying to sing a song that I've never sang before and just giving it a go. But I did have some tips. Like even though I always consider myself a guitar player, I have been singing much, much longer than I've ever been playing guitar. Because I was singing in choirs. My mother was a choir teacher.
Yes.
And so she had me and my brother singing in choirs when we were like 6-7 years old. So really, I have been a singer much longer than I've been a guitar player.
Yeah,
but,
and you're constantly singing, aren't you? Like all day long.
Yeah, well, because I'm always singing. I've always, in any band I've ever been in, I've usually sang leads on a few songs, and then I would sing backups on everything. So, I'm singing all night. I'm singing
totally
on every song all night long. But background vocals is a whole other animal to like lead singing. It's a very different. I consider them two completely different disciplines in a way. But so
how so? What do you mean? Explain that a little bit.
I'll finish what I was saying about the choir thing and like the learning on the job. Like you sing, you get some basic instruction through choir when you're young, and then about projection and about like. You don't want to be, if you're going to sing a high note, you don't want to slide up to it. You want to kind of almost more aim above it and come down on it. That's one thing we were taught in choirs. Like, you don't want to go, you want to go, kind of come down on it from above. Because like that, if everybody in the choir is trying to sing, la, and they're all going, la, sounds awful. It sounds horrendous. So, things like that. And, basic warm-up stuff, just like those little 5-note scales and trills and, all this kind of face stuff, like bits of that. But again, you're 7 and 8 years old. You're not really taking this stuff, fully into your head, unless you're going to be singing in choirs all the time. So then when you start playing in bands, you're kind of like, well, I know I can sing. I know I can keep it pitch and stuff, but like, you don't know technique really. So I kind of just like that, learn on the job. It's like, I'll try singing this song. I think I can hit the notes. And then like between meeting people like you who had a bit more vocal training and other singers and talking to them about how they approach things, or like, you go, what does it feel like when you do that?
Yeah.
And then of course reading maybe a couple of books like that great book that we both have.
The Pro Secrets of Rock.
Pro Secrets of Heavy Rock Singing.
Yeah, Heavy Rock Singing. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I loan that book out to people all the time. I'm like, read this. It's great.
Yeah, I actually started reading that.
It's not like a singing instructional book at all.
No.
there's not a single exercise really in it. It's just other singers' experiences and kind of their tips and tricks, and I just find it very helpful.
Yeah, I found that. Yeah, that for me, that was a really good book. Yeah,
it's more about the psychology of singing, I think, anything more than the actual physicality of singing, but the health of singing, like keeping yourself healthy.
Yes, the thing I found about that book though, because I just started reading it again because I was like, I want to go back through there. Yeah, because I was like, it's been so long since I read that. Anytime I go, like, I always like to go back to a book that I've read, be it that or something else. Because what happens is you bring that new person that you are to that, because you've learned a bunch of stuff in between now and then. You're between
first kind of reading it
and you go back.
Mindset.
Exactly. Yeah, you have you're a different person reading that same material, and that's something I recall from reading it before was two things primarily. Is number one, I found that a lot of the singers' opinions on things and how things felt and what they would do would contradict.
Sure.
And I was going, well, that other guy said this, and then but then this other guy said kind of almost the opposite. I'm like, well, which is which? I was like, ugh. And then
does that not just say like everything is so subjective and every human being is different?
Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. But I do believe there are a few core things that you can learn. And then after that, as you said, like it's subjective, kind of, a lot of things that are a feeling, a lot of the feelings that you're describing, I also feel that flipping thing that you described. Yeah. I can feel that, not in my throat really, but there's something back there. There's it's not a valve.
It's not in your voice box, or that's not where I feel it. It's more like it's up here, so almost like just below your ears.
Yeah, exactly. Right in here, you feel like it's.
Do you ever see one of those like an old school throttle? Kind of opens like that. It's
totally
like that to me. It's kind of like when it's closed, you're in your chest, and the notes feel like they're coming from kind of the front half of your upper throat.
Yeah,
and then hit the flip. It's like it goes backwards. It starts coming from back here. And it's a sensation thing, and it's really hard.
I feel like it goes like back there and then kind of up through my nasal passage.
Yeah, well, I suppose that then just depends on what way you're resonating the note or whatever, or like what particular sort of tone you're putting on a note.
That's true. That's another part of it. You can still kind of not push as much up through the nasal cavity and to get a much
clearer, like more pure sound if you kind of keep it back here. But then when you start pushing it into the front, you can get all nasally and you can get more different tones and different sort of qualities to the notes by shifting the resonance around in your face.
Yeah, there's so much to be said about that, isn't there? There's with that feeling part of the throat, and it's not like the throat like proper around where your vocal cord. Yeah. Yes, exactly. It's just just like you described. What was it? Oh, and then the other thing I realized as I was kind of going back through it, it was like I totally didn't even read anybody that I'd never heard of. I didn't read any of them. I was like, I don't even know this person, because I was like, well, what's the point if I don't like their voice?
No frame of reference for what they sound like. So.
Yeah, but there
still had some good tips. Like, I mean, there's one singer in there, Jorn Land. Like, when I read the book first, didn't know who he was, never heard of him.
Yeah,
found him later.
I still don't.
Unbelievable singer. Just like
what band is he in?
He's been in a few different bands. He has his own band just called Jorn. He's been in a few different like prog bands. He sang with one called Arion. They're a Dutch prog metal band. He sang on a bunch of their albums. He's done a couple of albums with the lead singer from Symphony X, Russell Allen. Allen Land Project, where they kind of like a proggy kind of power metal thing with the two of them singing.
That's one of the things I always loved about you is you would always get into these like super muso and like these really obscure bands. I mean, to me it was obscure, but like these kind of Swedish death metal and
Well, I suppose that's mainly came out of the guitar playing side of me. That you're always trying to find new guitar players, and then you come onto some of these, and of course, if you're into drumming, it's usually, metal or like jazz. And then if you're into guitar playing, it's kind of metal. And shreddy stuff. Like, so I find all these kind of European tech metal bands and stuff, but some of them would have amazing singers, and you'd be like, "Holy! I came for the guitar playing, but I stayed for the singing."
Stayed for the singing. I love that. Yeah. I think that's when people go. They go to see BlueMoose, and they go, "Oh, I came for the guitar playing. I'll stay for the singing." Like,
well, I mean, happy either way.
I know, yeah. That's what I love about you is that you're happy to do anything. Like you're just,
I'm perfectly happy just being a backup singer and play guitar. I enjoy singing background vocals a lot. I love adding that flavor to to a song or to another.
That's one of the things I always loved, like looking back at the Glitter Bugs and stuff like that. You would always, and then when Yassine was in the band singing as well, that was just like, some incredible stuff that you guys would put. I always knew, like, if you were like when you were doing the gigs, like it was going to be incredibly like harmony wise, because you just had such a good ear for it. Did you ever have problems with your pitch, or did you, like, since you were in from such a young kid, did it all come natural to you? Or
well, I suppose the choir singing as a child opens your ear to harmony. So, you hear the third and you hear the fifth, and maybe you hear a seventh or a lower part under the lead, the melody. So you kind of you're it's just that your mind is open to the sound of harmony. So like when I would, like, people play records, or tapes in my day, and play their tapes in their room, they sing along with it. I would never do that. I would always sing a harmony to whatever was being played. Like, so I'm listening to Nirvana. You haven't seen your Nirvana cup there. And I'm singing harmonies to all the songs on Nevermind. That was what I used to do in my bedroom when I was, listening to music. So I would always like slot a harmony in where there wasn't one. Or if there was a harmony, I'd find another part and put that in. So like, it's just my ear is attuned, I suppose, from a young age to the harmony vocals. I love hearing voices singing in harmony. It's amazing.
That's one of the things. Yeah, that's one of the things I was going to say. Like, as you were going into that as well, is that I used to do that a lot as well. Is like, and it's weird when you're young and you're into that. I think it's choir that must have kind of done that, because for me, that's probably where I learned a little bit more of that harmony stuff. And then,
did you ever sing in choirs in school?
I did, yeah, but I didn't learn anything like you learned. Like, we just sang the parts. Like it was like the only thing I think I can relate to in what you were talking about was she was like, hit the note, like don't slide into it. My dog is back there sliding into notes.
It's just the worst sound in the world is that, 50 different voices all sliding up to a one note at different times.
True. But now if you listen to so many like lead singers, I mean, famous lead singers, a lot of them slide into the notes. Like
if you're singing on your own, it's fine. It can be
fine. Yeah.
Character of the song, of the sound.
Yeah.
Like, that can be the dynamic of the melody that you're making. But when you're 15 people singing one line, one, and it has to be one note, if you all arrive at that note slightly different times, it just sounds awful.
Yeah,
so, again, I suppose that probably as well, attuned my ear to when you're singing a harmony to someone else. You shouldn't be trying to make your voice as loud as theirs or as full or as big. Yours, as a harmony singer, you need to kind of slot behind them or sit sort of you need to adjust your sound to match or to blend, not be like, we're two singers singing at the same time. No, it's like, here's the lead vocal and you just need to be back here. Just a little bit of icing on the cake, not, a different cake.
Yeah, different cake. Yeah, exactly. That's a great point, because I find that, myself, because I sing a lot of backups. When I sing with Spring Break, I always sing the kind of higher female backup in falsetto. Like, so if I'm not singing the lead, I'm singing generally a falsetto higher,
which is easier to blend with someone else's voice too, because it's a softer sound.
Yes. And that's what I find kind of that I have to be conscious of, is that, being that, as you said, the icing on a cake, and you put it perfectly, like, you have to blend in there. You're not meant to be two singers singing the same thing. So yeah.
You want it to sound like you're almost like it's just like one voice making two notes.
Yes.
You can always tell singers that like don't sing like, or you can always tell lead singers will say that never sang backups in a band because when they have to sing a harmony, they just sing it full pelt in their own voice. Like, and it's like, take it down a notch there.
Yeah. Back up.
It's a backing vocal, not, dual lead vocals.
Dual lead vocals. Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's something that I think would be beneficial for a lot of people, like to really know and understand. So that's, thanks for sharing that. That's great.
I suppose it's an interesting way to think about singing as well, in that, if you're primarily singing background vocals, you're generally not singing in your full voice, or at least, again, my opinion, you shouldn't be. So you're having to play and work with tone and dynamic and getting different sounds out of your voice, and this I think can help you in your own like lead singing then, because you've kind of got more. You know what your voice can do more. Is like, again, a lot of singers that have never sang backups or have only ever been a lead singer, it's like they maybe don't explore the capabilities of their voice as much as maybe they could, because they're just so used to singing full belt or in whatever range they're comfortable in, and they haven't had to like sing soft, sweet, like falsetto-y background, whispery background vocals, and realize, my voice can do that. So, but what else can it do? And can I play with that? And can so again, like learning on the job, I discovered an awful lot of things I could do with my voice by just like singing background vocals or trying to get a different sound to mesh and marry with a particular lead singer. It's just all experimentation, learning on the job, like I said, and then maybe finding the words to put to it afterwards.
And there's a good safety to it, isn't it? About like being that backing vocals, to be able to play with your voice, because you can always just drop out if you kind of feel like you're not comfortable singing that part. You can always
And I suppose for a confidence thing too, if you're not a confident singer, you can work up to. You can build up your confidence by singing background vocals. It's like you're singing, you're in pitch, you're experiencing singing, but you're not the focus. So it can be a good way to, if you're not a confident singer, to increase your confidence. Because I know so many people that are like, "Oh, I can't sing." I was like, I know you can.
Yeah.
You're not tone deaf. You're playing an instrument. Like I know you can sing. You have a voice. It's like, so don't give me that you can't sing. That's nonsense. It's like, you don't sing. That's okay. We can accept that. We can accept that phrase from you, but to say you can't, nonsense.
Yeah. Is this like? I just want to. The question is when have you heard that? Is that somebody that you've been playing with?
So many musicians.
But I mean, is that somebody that you were like playing with, and you were like, "Go on, sing backups on this," and they were like, no, I can't. Yeah, okay.
Multiple different people. Like, this isn't any one person. I've just heard this from lots of musicians. They're like, "Oh, I can't sing." It's like, lies.
Yeah. You don't sing.
You might not like the sound of your voice. Fair enough. Maybe you don't have a nice voice. Also fair enough. But to tell me you can't sing, nonsense.
Yeah.
It actually annoys me.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think so too. That's one of the things I think, because I know there's a fair few guys that I would play with, and they just don't. I'm like, "Where's your mic? Like, set it up. Like, let's."
Why don't you throw a la 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 or an ooh or an ah over something?
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that like I know from your own perspective, you really do enjoy singing and throwing in that color and kind of like adding something to the song, you know what I mean? And I think, and that's one of the things that I think about you is, when I think of you, I think of like somebody that like eats, sleeps, breathes, and everything's music, kind of all day long. You're kind of like,
might seem that way. I'm kind of not like on a day-to-day basis, really. Like, I'm not sitting here practicing for hours on end anymore or singing.
Yeah.
But I suppose I do so much music, so it's kind of, I do so many gigs all the time, and then if I'm practicing, like, or maybe learning songs, so it's not that I'm like eat, sleep, and breathe. I love music, and I don't listen to as much music as I would like to. Because again, when it's your job and you're doing it, you're going to gigs. The last thing I would want to do when I finish a gig is like jump in the car and throw on an album and listen to it. I'm like, oh, my ears need a rest.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I think I listen to more music probably in the gym than anywhere else.
And do you find that like, because with myself, I know that when I'm playing a lot and playing regularly, I'm singing a lot better if I'm singing like, 4 nights in a row. I'm singing a lot better on the 4th night than I would have on the first or second.
Yeah.
Just
I do to an extent as well. Some singers I suppose benefit from the constant thing. I do to an extent, but I also, a rest is great for me. Like I'll probably sing the best of a week maybe on the first night, but that's if I've been singing 4 nights the week previous.
Yeah.
Whereas like if I hadn't sang for 2 weeks and then I had to do one gig, that's probably not going to be great.
Yeah.
But like, I'm quite a, like I give it socks when I'm singing live usually. So like I tend to, I'll be a bit croaky now on night 4, like, cause I'll have been singing full pelt for the 4 nights previous. So like that first night of the next week would be probably the best, but it just depends. I have gotten better as well over the years of kind of modulating my intensity level on gigs. I'm kind of going 2 more gigs after tonight to do. Just take it back a couple of clicks. I don't need to be giving it 100% on this particular song or whatever. Or like you don't have to hit that note. You could So you kind of do that as well, a little bit as well. You kind of, my natural inclination is to just go, to the moon with everything. But
yes,
I do kind of have to, bit of self-preservation and go, just take it back a little bit.
Yeah,
I do an acoustic gig every week. Just myself.
So you're back doing that, yeah?
Yeah, and I find that is the best for my singing because I can hear. I'm not trying to belt out rock songs over a full band. It's just like a guitar and a piano, and I can really sort of evaluate my voice and what kind of condition it's in, and I can sing stuff. And I find it a lot easier to sing certain songs on that because you're not fighting over the noise of a band, and I can play with my kind of tone, and I have found that gig has improved my singing as a whole. It's kind of, again, made me more in tune with my voice and what it can do.
Do you feel that part of that could be down to it's more relaxed? You don't have to. Could it be part down to like you don't feel like, oh, I have to really rock this one out because it's a rock song and I have to like give it loads for people to go, yeah, he really rocked.
Absolutely, that's a huge part of it. Like it's a very chill gig. It's all kind of folky stuff and Sting and James Taylor and that kind of thing. And I'm not screaming AC/DC tunes, over a full rock band. So it's an easier gig to sing, but it's like a 2.5 hour gig. So I'm singing more than I would ever on a BlueMoose gig. I'm singing for 2.5 hours, just me.
Yeah,
but I am in total control of how loud or how quiet or and I can pick songs that suit my range better. I'm not going to have to do Sweet Child of Mine because that's in the set. I can sing whatever I want tonight, and I can sing 2.5 hours of stuff that's comfortable, and that I can, there's a couple of moments, there's a couple of songs where there's maybe I get a little bit, give it some socks and get, kind of more just get into it and be a bit passionate about this singing, but I'm not like straining myself. So, but
there isn't the pressure there to perform. And
that's a great start to the week, because then I've done this 2.5 hour gig of singing at very comfortable range and levels.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's like the best warm up of all. It's like that's better than doing la 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 for an hour in the car. Like it's much better.
That's your warm up for the week.
I still do the la la la's in the car though.
And yeah, I was just going to ask you, what is your kind of favorite go-to warm-up? Like, what is your kind of, let's say, gig day, right? What do you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, first of all, let's say on a daily basis, do you do any warm-ups? Like on a daily basis?
Days I'm not gigging or singing. No, I mean, I might just subconsciously be doing a bit of humming and stuff, and like I do sing to myself a lot. That's just my own weirdness anyway.
Yeah. I know you and I are the same. We kind of just
making coffee and singing away to myself some nonsense song that I made up, and like, you know, herself singing next to her, shut up.
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
You're singing.
Kind of making up songs as you go about like, I'll make myself a cup of coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've written that song a million times now at this point. I got thousands of variations of it. But when on days I'm gigging, I'll generally I've done too much warming up, which has actually hurt me on the gigs. Like that there's a point where you're like, actually no, I did too much that day. I was like, I was running scales for 40 minutes and actually ended up tiring myself out, and then my voice, so I do a lot of kind of low, very quiet, with my mouth closed, like humming kind of things. Mm-hmm. So I'll be going like, and I might be doing that like on and off all day of the gig. Yeah. And then like, and I'll just be kind of going, and I'll do some kind of like low, like quiet sirens, like, and just kind of feeling out where the top and the bottom is, and what's feeling good and what's feeling comfortable. I never try and go too high. Yeah. Warming up, I just like save that for the gig. There's no like, if you're warmed up, the high notes will be there when you need them, but there's no point like going like like hitting loads of high notes warming up. You're just gonna burn yourself out. So a lot of humming, and then I'll start doing some like those little 5-note scales, like the na 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 na, and I might do like lip roll ones. So I'll go. I might do those like for a while, but not long. On the way to the gig or whatever, just kind of
like what, 20 minutes maybe ish. 20.
Yeah. If even that. Like I said, I've been kind of I might have been doing the hums and sort of low siren type things, quiet ones. I'll often like even if I'm sitting in the van beside the lads, like I might be watching something on my iPad or something with my headphones in it, but I'll be going to myself, like just quietly at that level.
Just kind of feeling that, because you can feel
just almost just like warming up this area and like getting the sensations going, and just know that like just knowing that it's working, and it's like and like that. Just it's not about running high scales or trying to see, can I hit this note. It's just kind of using it. But talking is such a different thing to singing. So like you could be talking out for hours. That's not going to warm up your voice for singing. Yeah. If anything, I think it does the opposite. It's probably bad to talk.
True.
Too much on the gig.
Well, that's how Miley Cyrus
talking too much all the time. So.
Well, that's how Miley Cyrus kind of destroyed her voice. She said that in the when she was on Joe Rogan, like she said that was her demise. And then Corey Taylor in a different interview, well, obviously a different interview, but he said it's not the singing that like would destroy my voice on tour. It's the peopling, is how he put it. It's the doing the interviews in between shows and staying up late, as you said, staying up late and partying, drinking, whatever, talking and not getting enough sleep and not getting enough hydration. I think, as you mentioned, those are like really key for for your voice,
Yeah. So I think that the warm-ups are kind of they're only a minor part of it, really. I think it's the, having a good vocal health all the time. The warm-ups are, they help, but like I didn't do warm-ups for years and years and years, like, because I was just singing every day anyway. So it was like, if you're playing 5 gigs in a week, I don't really need to be doing much warming up. But as I get older and, I do find that it helps. It does help. Yeah. It's a peace of mind thing as well, to just do a little bit of warm-up and go, I know that I'm not going to be just going into this gig cold, that at least I have, just kind of felt it out a little bit. And like I said, those basic ones like the lip rolls, just a small couple scales up and down. I like to do these ones that's it's like a vowel, like a 3-note vowel exercise. You start like you go A, E, or A, I, E, O, U, and you go up to the next note.
Okay.
A, E, I, O, U, A, and you just move up the notes. But it's warming up those different vowel sounds.
Yeah.
And you go through them and you just, up and down, do that once, do the lip rolls, do, a few la la las and hum and bit. And that's kind of it. That's as much as I would do for one.
And you go to the bar.
Not anymore. Not so much anymore. It's more, well, I might be go to the lobby of the hotel and then sit and wait.
Yeah, because as you mentioned, like that's key to the care is not to kind of get stuck into which is odd because I had there was an interview with Dave Grohl was on that Hot Ones not too long ago. Did you?
Yeah.
And he talked about his warm up, which was like I think it was on where he took
a shot.
Yeah, he's like, well, I do a shot and then then I have a whiskey and then whatever, and I do another shot and then we have a beer and then and I was like, that got me.
I might have been tongue in cheek a little bit.
I maybe, but not so much because, and I'll give you the reason. And you've already stated it. If he's gigging every night of the week, he's on tour.
Yeah,
he's not gonna you don't need to do a warm-up pre-show. And that's one of the things that Corey Taylor also mentioned. His warm-up was like, I go, and then, hey, to kind of get, he gets the clean sound and then he gets that.
And he knows they're both working and it's like, right, let's go.
Yep, that's it. He's like, that's it. That's my warm-up. Then I go on. You know what I mean? Because it's like,
how do you warm up for like an hour of going?
No, I mean, like, you just have to make sure it's working, isn't it? Yeah, like you said, exactly. It's like you were saying, it's like just that feeling out of like, is this gonna work? It's like take the car for a little spin around the block, make sure everything works. All the gears work, the clutch feels good.
That's all you need to do.
Yeah,
I get it. Like I get it for if someone it's like who could someone who sings high all night long, like one of those kind of heavy metal
or even like opera singers.
Well, not exactly. If you're like, they probably do have to do a fair bit of warming up, but like most pop and rock songs, there's a lot of dynamic. Like you're not going straight in at the top highest note. Like you almost going to get like the first half a song to warm up in a way. Like but like if you're going out there and you're singing, like if you're Jeff Tate from Queensryche and you're going to be going Queen of the Rock from the first song, he needs to know that that's going to be there when he goes to hit that note in the first song. So I get what he would have to, those kind of guys probably do have to do, half hour of loud warming up to know that they're going to have the stamina to get through their 90-minute show.
Yeah,
of shrieking metal. So it's different, it's everyone's. That's the thing. Everyone's different, and everyone.
Yeah, totally. Everyone is different. Yeah, that was one of the things. I know that there was an interview with what was I going to say? Seth Riggs, right? Who taught Michael Jackson for, I think, most of his career. But he said he would warm Michael Jackson up for like on a show day, he would call him or talk to him, I think 2 or 3 times that day. They would do like an hour in the kind of early morning, like late morning, earlyish part of the day. And they would do like another 45 minutes kind of midday. And then they would do like another hour, like before or something. It was like
that's a wild
extraordinarily like a lot of warming up. And I thought, surely he doesn't need to do, especially if he's on tour, but apparently like that was
different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Did you ever watch that documentary about Journey when Arnel Pineda joined the band?
No, I didn't.
It's very good. It was on Netflix, but I don't know if it's still there. But he goes through a long warm up process, like an hour before the show, and like singing high, and himself and the keyboard player, like they bang out notes. There's like, and he's like, because I mean, Journey's music, it's high. A lot of it's high.
Yeah.
So he had a really rigorous warm up regime. But like again, I suppose the likes of him, the likes of that kind of band, you're expected to walk out on stage and sound perfect from the note one. So,
Yeah, that's one of the things I found actually with. Well, I was thinking earlier there, Widge in Holland. One of his great quotes that I remember from him is like, what was he saying? The first song is the sound check, and like I do a warm up, and that's called the first song or something that. You know what I mean? Like it was like he was just like, let's go, just turn it on and let's.
Yeah, that was his style, wasn't it?
But I always found
I just roll out of bed onto the stage and rock everyone's socks off.
Just rock their socks off. Now, one of the things I found with Chris Cornell and many of his performances was the early part of the performance, to me, always felt like, or in many cases when I've seen like live performances of them, or even when I saw them live here in Dublin when they were the Audio Slave, that's the only time I ever saw him perform.
Yeah.
But you were at that, were you as well?
Yeah. I was at that.
Do you recall like the first part of that gig? He sounded like he was really struggling with his voice.
I do actually. Yeah, he was quite croaky sounding and quite crackly.
But I found as he went on, it was like, and then at the end, I was like, he's like, this is it. I was like, I was thinking in my mind, I was like, whoa, his voice is not. At first, I was like, wow, he's not. I was like, kind of you feel for somebody when they're feeling like that croakiness, you're like, oh God, oh no, I hope this isn't. Yeah. But it was just
in the case of that he was like, it was a tour and he was tired and it's just, he might have warmed up, but this wasn't quite enough. And then it took the first half hour of the gig to kind of really settle.
Yeah.
He might have been feeling a bit ill as well, and he just kind of powered through. You wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's true. Like, and that's the thing, you never know, like yourself on the night as well. Like I've had times when I've
often been asked like by the other singer of the band, like, and he'll go, will you be all right for this song later on? I'll be like, don't know, find out when we go to do it. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
He's like, how's the voice? And I'm like, I don't know. Especially if I've been a bit sick, like, or like if I've a bit of a cough or something, he'd be like, how's the voice tonight? And I'm like, don't know, find out in a minute.
Don't know yet. Yeah. Cause it's kind of weird. It's you almost like kind of don't want to push it.
Yeah, totally. But also, like I said, like you can't really warm up. You can't really warm up to, in that way to be able to sing something like, Thunderstruck or Sweet Child of Mine, or like, it's kind of like you can try, but you might end up actually just doing more damage. So you're better off do the safe kind of warm-ups. And then when it comes time to do it, you just fingers crossed and hope it's there.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It was interesting. You sing Thunderstruck in falsetto.
It's not, again, it's a kind of a mix. It's definitely
okay.
It's definitely I think it's a falsetto. I mean, it's such a screechy tone. It's obviously a mix of some description. Again, I'm not a trained singer, so I can't really give you the exact mechanics of what's going on. It sort of feels like it's coming from here, like the sound is kind of coming from like the front of my face, and it's right, but it's also part of like the back of your throat. It's one of those ones is like I never sang that way until 10 years ago, and I was like, well, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And you just kind of get better at it as time goes by, like, and you get like more grit on it, but without hurting yourself. You kind of learn how to add that the kind of sizzly grit without injuring yourself.
Yeah, and you could feel it's a weird, wonderful feeling when you're adding that grit in, and you're like, I'm just like coloring the sound, and it's not doing any damage. I can feel that it's like just
like the notes, like Thunderstruck is high, so it's all it's cold. Like it would be high. You kind of have to sing falsetto, like so.
Yeah.
Then, in order to make it sound good, you have to add in all that grit and that really squeeze, like the compression, really kind of squeeze it down.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't just sound like kind of like a child singing.
I was cold on another leg. Yeah, you really need to.
I always just like describe it as like I feel like I'm singing from my lower back, and that's where the notes are starting. It's like right at the top of my ass. I'm squeezing them there. And they're shooting up and out of my face. It's like because I almost feel like I'm nearly standing on my tiptoes when I'm singing that kind of thing. Like because I'm
I've seen you. It looks like you're actually standing on your
forcing the notes up. It's a weird feeling, but it's the best way I can use to describe it. Is like if it's like, yeah, where are you singing that? I was like, I'm singing from my lower back.
Yeah. And then people are like, "What the hell is he talking about?" You can see how it's
like coming out of your mouth,
clearly out of his mind.
It feels like it's coming from my lower back is where it starts.
Yeah, because when I heard you sing that, I was like, "Oh my god, he sounds like Brian Johnson." Like that's a really good like take on Brian Johnson. And what was I going to say? Like, I think he does it exactly the same way you're talking about. I think he uses that kind of compressed falsetto because
if you hear him speak, he's got quite a low speaking voice, so he doesn't have a naturally high range.
Yeah, it's like mine. I think it's like quite baritone.
He's got a low kind of gravelly voice.
Yeah.
But then, like when he sings, it's all from. It sounds like it's coming out of his eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that front placement, quite nasally sort of and compressed, you know. But he does like he controls that valve to get a bit of that throat in there. It's not too nasally, but you know you can. That's that valve we were talking about. You know that you throw a little bit.
Like he's a master of it. Like and how he does it for 2 hours a night. It's crazy. And never really lost his range. Like he's never. Like it's not. Oh, I know we were talking about Bon Jovi there recently, and this video is knocking around at the moment. It's actually really sad to see that they have to drop the keys of the song down. And AC/DC never did that.
Yeah, I've seen actually a few of this since you told me to watch that one, and I went and looked at it. I was like, oh my gosh! So now it's
very sad. It's quite upsetting actually.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I wonder is it a case of he's too proud to admit it, or is it that he's like, all these people have bought tickets and I gotta go and do the shows regardless.
It's hard to tell because you never even know somebody, even from interviews, you never really can know like what's going on behind it. But I always felt like he was genuine, so I think it's more the latter. I don't think it's as much of an ego thing as it is.
I don't know, but it's like, God, he's going to see, he's going to see so many videos of how out of tune he is at the minute, and it's like, it's going to be devastating.
Yeah. I was trying to kind of watch and kind of assess and go like, what is really going on there? I think from the little bit, I didn't really kind of take too much time to assess kind of what appears to me to be going on, but
it could be a good fodder for a video.
Yeah, exactly. Like I may do that because it looked to me like he's not getting enough breath, and that was one of the things. It looked
like he's really struggling. Like he's got no tank. He's got no gas tank. It's like it seems like he's running out of puff on every line.
Yeah. And that's one of the things actually that I was reading in the book, in that Pro Secrets of Heavy Metal Singing again, was that they all talked about how important the air is. They were like, it's critical. Your air is the most important thing out of everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they all had kind of different ways of describing,
some of them were into, a lot of biking or running or whatever. And cardio just to get the lungs going.
Yeah, definitely. But like that air, and that's what it appeared to me that Bon Jovi was kind of.
Was actually on it because I watched a few other ones. He doesn't move off the spot, so he's not like he used to be very energetic. He'd be running around and putting on a show. He is stock still all the whole song. Stood at the microphone, not moving. So I'm wondering, is there a bigger health issue at play?
Yeah, maybe there is. Like it could be I mean, you might have had to perform with that kind of when you're sick and you have a shortness of breath. I feel like that is where it all starts, where you kind of know, oh my God, like I'm struggling to breathe. You might be in a humid environment or something, and you're just like struggling to breathe, and it's like that has an impact. Or even sometimes kind of the dryness of the air. I think it's more of a humid thing for me, as I'm struggling to breathe in, really impacts that, ability to sing. So maybe that's a big part of it.
But it's on multiple different gigs and multiple different cities, and it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
A one-off, you could kind of go, maybe he's just having a bad night, but it's like, no, this is the whole tour.
yeah, as you were saying, like he's struggling with the pitch, and it's weird. It's almost like is he struggling with the pitch, or he just can't actually hit the notes?
But it's like, it's not the highs. It's weird.
No.
It's like it's his lower range even is completely all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, is it this is why I'm thinking, is it a hearing thing that he's got severe hearing impairment that he can't even hear what pitch he's singing? Like, do you remember years back there was some videos knocking around of Bobby Kimball from Toto?
Yeah.
Because long after he had left Toto, he was doing these kind of appearance type gigs where he'd use like a band from wherever he was. Like, there's a few videos of him from like Malaysia or Indonesia or somewhere, and using that like a house band, and his pitch was absolutely all over the place. Like, he was just completely off. It turned out he was like, his hearing was just really badly damaged, and so he couldn't actually hear what he was singing. And a lot of, I was actually talking to the lads about this. We were talking about the Bon Jovi thing, and I was saying, like, I think I can feel as much as I can hear what I sing. So like, I can feel if I'm in pitch.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree with that. Yeah,
I think I could almost, be like, have no hearing and still know that I'm in pitch. Now, I don't want to test this theory out. Like, I don't want to lose my hearing. But I noticed the times the times I would struggle with pitch would only ever be on like such a loud stage where like the low end is messing up how I actually feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much low end, it's actually throwing off the sensations in my throat and my head that's when I kind of would lose pitch maybe. You might go a little flat or whatever. So I wonder if it's a hearing thing with Bon Jovi. That's just like his hearing's shot. And
maybe it is. Yeah.
And they've dropped all the keys of the songs like down quite a bit, like maybe a tone and a half. Oh. And I'm wondering again, is it like muscle memory for him is to sing higher, but now they've dropped the pitch, the keys down so that he can hit the notes, but it's throwing all his sensations off because it's like
that could be it. Yeah, that's a really, really good point, because it's funny that you mentioned that, because it actually brought this thing, because I'm usually used to singing that high note of the girl's part. Sometimes they'll have to get a depth female singer and she can't hit the same note. So they'll bring things down like a full tone or something. Yeah. And for me, I'm like struggling then to go, where is the note? Sometimes like with some songs, it's harder than others, but sometimes I'm kind of going, oh yeah, this is down a pitch. And I'm like, okay, where is the kind of the reference? And and I could totally feel that muscle memory thing being challenged and going, okay, like I really have to focus on, the notes that I'm singing. It's not just that, really easy.
Yeah, no, I think an awful lot of singing is kind of sensation and muscle memory. Like, have you ever tried, when you're trying to figure out a song or like what key you want to say, you're playing a song in a key, you're like, that's a bit high, and you just move it down like one, say if you're using an acoustic guitar, and you're like, I'm just knock the capo down one fret, and then for that first like little bit you're like, you can't quite find where it's supposed to be singing. It was like, it's one note different, not drastic, but yet for some reason I'm like, I can't quite settle, because it's like your muscle memory, like I was just singing it in this other key a minute ago, and now I have to like, well, it can be tricky, like.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, it's really weird. But plus, if it's a song that you've been used to hearing your whole life, it's in your mind in terms of like the original song, the original key.
Which is why I'm not a fan of changing the keys on songs to suit. Like, it depends on the type of gig, but like if it's a pop rock gig, like where punters are paying in to hear covers of the songs they know, if you change the keys drastically, I think I don't like it. I don't think it sounds good.
I totally agree with that.
If you can't sing it in the original key, just don't do the song.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on that.
Nothing bugs me more than hearing like someone doing Whole Lotta Rosie in E. Like, just don't do it. Just don't do the song.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think there is a reason why they picked that key. They didn't pick it, a semitone down or anything like that. It's because it sounds good in that key.
You can sometimes get away with like a semitone-ish, like we used to tune the whole band to E flat, like so everything was down.
Oh, okay.
And certain songs which were recorded in E flat, obviously they sounded perfect, but then certain songs that were originally recorded like a half step higher, they do sound a little bit different. Now sometimes they can sound a little bit beefier, but when you're moving keys like, a fifth or, a fourth away from the original, it's just like, just don't do the song.
Yeah, it totally weirds some parts out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like
I hear people doing Journey like in C. I'm like, what are you doing? It sounds like what's it called? Don't Stop Believing, and they're doing it down in C. I'm like, just don't do the song.
Don't stop believing.
It's terrible. It's just like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, it's like it is following the lines, but it's just like it just sounds pitch wise too. And I think the punters will pick up on those kind of, even though that would be somebody that's like, oh, I don't know music, I can't carry a tune in a bucket. They'll still go, that doesn't sound right. Something doesn't sound right about that.
I think people are kind of actually more tuned into this kind of stuff than maybe musicians give them credit for.
Totally, yeah, exactly.
Same with tempos. Like if you make a song much faster or much slower than the original, people will be like,
yeah, they start looking at each other, going, "What the what?
Yeah, something's off here.
This is not right. Yeah, it doesn't feel right." There's a big thing about that. Like as you said, like I think people are really like more tuned into that than a lot of people give them credit for. So you were in E flat. Are you still doing everything E flat?
No, we're standard tune now. Last 5 years, but we did it like a part of it was vocal preservation. Part of it was. We were doing a lot of songs that were actually recorded in E flat. Like if you're playing like
Alice in Chains,
Guns N' Roses, and or like Van Halen tunes, or so many, or Thin Lizzy as well, like tuned to E flat.
Oh, really? All those guys in E flat?
An awful lot of them did, yeah. A lot of Hendrix stuff is tuned to E flat as well. And
okay,
not like the Killers, the Mr. Brightside.
Okay,
that song is in D flat. It's in C sharp. Like so, they recorded it like their guitars were tuned down. But in order to play it in the right positions, you have to play it in the key of D. So then it's now higher. If you're playing a standard tune guitar, it's now higher than what the original was. So we just tuned the guitars down a half step. A lot of songs then were in the right key, but then other ones were down lower, which is, can be helpful. Singing "Don't Stop Believing" in E flat is a little bit easier than singing it in E. But but then what happened was we did a few songs like "Sweet Child of Mine," which is originally recorded in E flat. We used to do "Beat It" by Michael Jackson. I know you sing that one too.
Yeah.
That was originally recorded in E flat, and then when we went back to standard tuning, I was like, how am I gonna sing "Beat It" in E, like in the like higher than the original? Sing "Sweet Child of Mine." If I now sing "Sweet Child of Mine" a half step higher than the original, but you just kind of get used to it. It's like again, it's like if you're you've been singing for years and years, it's like. It just was there. It was like actually it wasn't a big deal to me.
Yeah, it's not really. Yeah. What's your favorite song to sing? Do you have a favorite song to sing?
I don't really have favorite songs in general.
Okay, that's a shit question.
No, it's not. I enjoy certain songs. I enjoy certain songs based on the reaction they get from the crowd.
Okay, which one?
So like we do "Simply the Best."
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
I have no love for that song whatsoever, but
people
we do it in the original key, Tina's key. I sing it same registers, Tina Turner, and like when I hit the high note just before the sax solo comes in, see where the key changes. You see people are like, you can kind of see their faces go, "Holy hell!"
Yeah. Oh baby, don't do that.
Yeah,
that one. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Don't let go.
Yeah, don't let go.
Up to the sax solo, people are like, and I like that. I enjoy that because it's a fun reaction, to see them, So things like that, I get a kick more out of that than necessarily as a song I like to sing. I always enjoy singing, something that we've just recently added to the set list, like something that's new. So, like there for a while, we added in. No, this is it's an old song now, but it was Dua Lipa. You know that song? If you don't wanna see me dancing with somebody.
Oh yeah.
And, like I really enjoyed singing that because it was new.
Yeah.
You know?
That's kind of it's like any newer songs. It's like, oh, this is fun because it's something
Exactly.
new.
I enjoy singing whatever the most recent song we've learned is.
Yeah, and the ones that like the crowd really kind of.
I love singing the final countdown, and we don't get to do it very often, but I do enjoy singing that because it's such a cheesy tune, and it's you can really kind of kind of cheese out and hit those big high notes, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, and plus crowds react really well to that one too, don't they?
And like any of the AC/DC stuff tends to get a great reaction from a crowd. So although when you've sang Thunderstruck every night for 10 years and you see it pulled up in the set list, I'm like,
hard to get excited about that, isn't it? Yeah. Despite the fact that
I kind of requested, like, will you stop putting that in every night? If someone asks for it, fine. But can we do one of the other ones maybe? Like Highway to Hell instead or something, or like Shook Me All Night Long just for a change. I'm like so sick of Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
But people, if someone asks for it, a lot of people come to gigs and go, you have to do Thunderstruck. Like, fine.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. Because people love that no matter what. It's just like that song just gets
a cool song that people
love. That's
love.
just a floor filler, But yeah, when you're so sick of doing it, and it's just like, don't
Purple Rain's another one. I hate singing Purple Rain.
Really?
I'm so bored of it. Like, I'm just so sick of singing that song. I've been singing it for 20 plus years. I'm just bored. And I love Prince. He's got 7,000 other brilliant songs. I love to play. I just hate singing Purple Rain.
Is that the only Prince song you do in your set?
We used to do Never Take the Place of Your Man as well.
Oh yeah.
Song too.
We used to do that in White Chocolate.
I do Raspberry Beret.
Oh yeah, okay.
I like doing that one. That's a fun one. But I do that myself, like acoustically.
What about 1999?
No, I never did that one actually.
That's a crowd pleaser. We did that in spring break. That's a. There you go.
He's got a million great songs.
Yeah. We could be here all day.
People always ask for Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Fine.
Do you love playing that though? When the solo comes up, you go, okay, that's now I'm happy.
Well, what I do is I punish the crowd for asking for Purple Rain by playing an ungodly long guitar solo. Like stupidly, annoyingly long. So it's like, you want to hear Purple Rain? Fine. You can have to solo for 6 minutes. and I kind of punish the band as well if
for allowing it to happen.
If they pull it up on the set list without someone asking them, I'm like, oh, okay, all right,
lads, this is it.
Fine.
Yeah, now you're in trouble.
So like, you kind of look at them and they're still plodding through the same 4 chords, and I'm whittling away, and they're like, come on, just finish it, will you please?
Hopefully they don't watch this.
Remember, you gotta learn. Stop asking for this song.
That's it. So like, if any of them are watching this, they're gonna.
So please, if you're watching and you turn up to a BlueMoose gig, don't ask for Purple Rain, please.
Or Thunderstruck. Just leave this.
If you've never heard us do Thunderstruck, fine. But if you've heard it before, don't give it a rest. Pick another song.
Give it a rest. Pick a different Prince song or something.
Pick a different AC/DC number.
What's the most important thing for you? Like when you're singing, what's the most important thing for you? I suppose technique wise or physique wise, like I guess the kind of the body mechanics part of it. When you're singing, like what's the most important thing that you think about when you're singing?
It's definitely a couple of things. Like I was talking about the kind of sending the notes from my lower back, depending on what it is. Like if it's a lower song, I might be thinking just more about the tone of what I'm actually singing and how I'm resonating the notes. And if it's something high and challenging, I'm just trying to think and make sure I breathe in the right places and make sure I'm holding myself up nice and upright and tighten stomach and, like I said, forcing it out from the lower back and up and out. So it's kind of there's multiple different kind of body mechanics depending on the type of song or the type of singing that's involved. Because that's the thing, like in a standard BlueMoose set, like this Thunderstruck for me is one song, but then I might be singing like Easy by the Commodores earlier in the set, or Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton, which has a different kind of that has a different type of voice needed for it. So like they're three very different styles of singing.
Yeah.
I have to, I have to sort of give them each their own unique approach. Like I was saying, like, so for a Thunderstruck or for an AC/DC thing, it's tight, compressed sound, really get the nasality into there. But then if it's something that's a bit lower or like has a richer tone, I'm trying to think more, resonant and, think more about my placement for the sound of it. And then something like Tennessee Whiskey is real gravelly and it's still kind of high-ish in spots. But it's not high, but it kind of sounds high. Or like Bryan Adams stuff. Like we say, we do Everything I Do. And like he's got such a husky voice, and I don't have that natural huskiness. So I'm kind of trying to add in a little bit, because that's the other thing with singing covers. Like, people are, as we said, they've heard this song their whole lives. They know exactly what it sounds like. So I always try and I'm not saying I'm like mimicking, but I'm sort of trying to bring some of the quality of that singer to our version of the song. So if it's Bryan Adams, I'll just kind of husk it up a little bit more than my natural voice, would do, and it's just. I
totally get that. That's what I like to do, because there's nothing worse for me than to go to a gig that's supposed to be like, as you said, like a pop rock gig that's like playing all kind of the, the favorites, and just hearing all of them in the guy's like normal natural voice,
boring.
So
really boring.
It is, because it's like
I would get bored of listening to a single voice for a whole gig anyway, even if it was like one of my favorite bands. It's like I like to hear a bit of variety. Like I don't know how anyone could listen to 2 hours of Liam Gallagher. Be like,
oh god,
singer, don't get me wrong, and they've got some great songs, but it's just that same all night. And he doesn't have a big range, so it's just like, oh, it's really boring. So, we mix up the singing in the band, like, so, like I said, I sing about 50%, and I think it's good for the ears of the audience as well. We're not listening to the same voice for 2 solid hours, and it kind of gives them there's a better range of flavors there to, and it helps break it up for us too, like that.
But that coloring that you do, I've always felt like that coloring that you do, or that I do, that we do, like to try and sound a bit more like the tonal qualities of the original singer. I think that helps us to learn more about our voice.
Absolutely.
And the different placements.
Yeah. It's experimentation as well. You're trying to take, the sort of the mannerisms, or if you want to call it that, of someone else's voice, or the unique, like, things that they do, or how they sound. You kind of go, can I copy that? Can I incorporate that? And I think it's just a great, like, kind of lesson as well, like, and to explore what your voice can do, like, make low sounds, high sounds, screechy sounds, clean sounds. Like, for example, I was asked to do a wedding ceremony and sing a song called "The Prayer" by Celine Dion and Andrea Bocelli. Do you know the song?
Okay, yeah.
You know it? No. So it's a.
I know them.
It's a duet, yeah. So it starts out with Celine Dion, and she sings like the first verse, and then Andrea Bocelli comes in, and like he's an opera singer, and I'm not an opera singer, but I was like, I have I could hit all the notes.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm like, so I had to kind of try and get my head into this sort of opera singer type of way of singing and being very, full and loud and project, and it's like it's not my normal type of thing. But it was a great lesson. Like, it was a great challenge to try and step into that sort of role.
Did you say you do that in BlueMoose?
No, it was a wedding. It was a wedding ceremony with a friend of mine asked me. She's like, I need a male voice.
Okay, all right, yeah, okay.
I want during the service. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a go. I was like, I'll have a crack at it, you know.
Yeah. And did it take you a while to?
You've done some musicals and stuff, you know, and like, so, you know, it's a different. It can be a different type of singing, so it's a great challenge to just step out of your comfort zone, like, and you might learn something about your voice, or you find that you're able to do something that you didn't think or know you could do before, which I think is good, and it's a worthy thing to do.
Totally. Stretching yourself, getting outside of your comfort zone, I think is really key as well to improving your voice. It's like, you know, just getting out of that comfort zone and experimenting and kind of seeing what else you can do, I think is really key to actually improving your voice, which so many people really, they're either afraid to do it or they just don't consider it. But
I think
that's
kind
cool.
of, in a lot of ways, maybe just they're holding themselves back ultimately because they're not willing, or they don't think they can do it, so they just don't try.
Yes.
I mean, the first time I heard, if you went back years and played me an AC/DC song, I'd be like, I can't sing like that.
Yeah.
And I had never sang like that, but I didn't know if I could or not until I tried it. So I just tried it and was like, oh, okay, I can actually do this. And I wasn't amazing at doing it at the start, but as the more I did it, the better I got at it.
Of course, because you feel those, as you said,
you
like
start
in
to
those.
get used to the sensations, and you're like, okay, well, I can sing that song now. I could probably sing a different one. But it's like if I just listened to it and went, oh no, I can't sing that. There's no way. I was like, well, you don't know until you try. So you have to just be willing to try. That's kind of with everything, really. It's not just singing. It's life, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Yeah. You have to you have to try new things and just to kind of test yourself and see.
I mean, obviously, I know I can never dunk a basketball because I'm 5'6", so like that's fine. I can accept that. You know, there's certain physical limitations, but with something like singing, it's like I don't necessarily agree that, like, you know, you have a natural range, but you can always increase your range a little bit, and especially increase your comfortable, usable range. So it's like you hear something's really high, you hear someone like singing a really high vocal, and you're like, I could never sing that. I'm like, well, you probably could.
Yeah.
You probably could if you just gave it the right time and learned a little bit about your voice and it's like I don't necessarily agree with kind of going, no, you could never sing that. Like,
yeah, I agree with that. I never ever thought there was anything that I ever heard and said, oh no, I can't sing that. I
don't think so either. Yeah, there's certain things I'd be like, I don't think I would sing that very well.
Yeah,
but I would never kind of go, I couldn't sing it. You know.
Yeah, there's some notes now. If I hear, like, I always try to hit like Dimash, like he.
Oh God! Well, no, like he's an absolute freak of nature.
Yeah, some of those notes that he hits that like those super highs. I'm like, oh,
yeah, but they're like in that whistle register that that Mariah Carey has, and actually I just don't think I have ever learned to access it. Maybe I have accidentally over over my lifetime, but like those people like Mariah Carey and Dimash, they can actually access their whistle register and manipulate it and sing.
Yeah, but it has never stopped me from actually trying to hit those notes.
Absolutely, and you should.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
the highest notes I've ever sang usually happened by accident, like on a gig or something, and I just went, whoa, I didn't think I could hit that note, but you did.
Yeah, there you go.
I also do think though as well, this is something that maybe it's a psychological thing, or maybe it's a me thing. Like, I sing differently with a microphone in front of me than I would in a room with no microphone. It's like you get so used to singing with a mic and a PA system, and the way you can sort of use it to help you. Like, I always find like in recording studio situations, I'm like, I can't quite get to those notes that I know I can sing, but because I'm with headphones on and it's a dead room, I'm like, I don't feel like I can hit the same notes, or like it just would take me time to sort of loosen up enough to be able to let go. But like in a live situation with a mic in front of me, I'm almost like, it's almost universally like I can sing more freely, or like I can hit higher notes in the moment of a gig than I could if I was just singing here, sitting in the room on my own. It's a strange thing.
Yeah. I think it's just because you do it so much, you're like more comfortable with that than.
It is probably a muscle memory thing too. Like,
yeah, cool. Listen, I better get this dog for a walk here because she's losing her mind. What's that?
I better bring my own dog for a walk.
Yeah, it's dog walkies time. I think she's she's kind of getting annoyed back there. You see, she keeps coming up going, oh, I'm looking outside going, I want to go out there. And sometimes she wants to get out before it's going to rain. So she might sense rain is coming or something. So
like the groundhog of dogs.
Yeah, the groundhog of dogs. But dude, I've really enjoyed this. Maybe I think we should probably do another one of these in the future. Maybe it could be just like the Philip and Jim podcast, or we could do something like the remember we were talking about the glitter bugs or something like that.
Well, maybe like I suppose when this goes up on YouTube, if the people have questions specifically about singing or even just our opinions on certain things, maybe we could address those on another.
That'd be cool. I'd so love it, dude, if we could like do this and we could do it again. And I've really enjoyed it. I appreciate you taking the time to do this because I think it's going to be super beneficial for people. And I thought like for them to like come and so just again remind everyone there where they can say.
So philipjoycemusic.com or Philip Joyce Musician on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. The band I play in is called BlueMoose. That's bluemoose.ie. We play all over Ireland. We're going to be playing in Dublin soon. Actually playing in Dublin this weekend.
Awesome.
We play in Dublin regularly enough, and we play all over the country, like I said, Cork, Galway, Athlone,
everywhere.
So if you happen to be in Ireland, if you're watching this, you come and check us out if you've never seen us. It'd be great to meet some of Jim's subscribers.
And your own, probably.
Hopefully my own, yeah. And come and see a gig if you've never seen the band. There's some stuff on YouTube, but like it's never the same as coming to a gig. So
totally, yeah.
Get out, support live music, go to see a band, go see Jim, go see Jim play, come see us play, and get out there and support live music because we're thankfully back after a bit of a break. So we're glad to be back working and gigging and playing for people. Ultimately, the reason I got into singing in the first place.
So much appreciate you for coming on, dude. Like I think people are really going to enjoy this.
I was chuffed to be asked.
Thank you. Well, let's do it again soon.
Yeah, for sure. I'd
dude.
I'd enjoy that.
Until then, rock your best, vocals.
Where your best keeps getting better.
Love it, dude. I love you so much, bro.
Thanks,
Take care, man.
Great to see you
again soon.
Bye.
See you, Philip. Bye-bye.